Hey guys, today I'll be reviewing the Nikon D7000. So this is the Nikon D7000. I got it a few weeks ago, just at the beginning of February actually. And so this is the body right here. Right, it's about 5.2 inches wide, about 4.1 inches tall, and about 3 inches deep, like that. So I guess that's this part right there. Its kit lens is typically the 18 to 105 VR Nikon DX, right? It's 3.5 to 5.6 G. This part of it is 67 millimeters, which kind of sucks because you're buying a filter and that's gonna cost like $70. I know it cost me quite a bit, and like you want to get a good one, right? So it's too bad, but it's the price you pay. But overall, the camera was about just over $1,200, so it was actually a really good investment. It's 16.2 megapixels, and that's really good for what it is. It's kind of in between the D3000s, the D5000s, and the more pro bodies or cameras, whatever you want to call them, DSLRs. So yeah, it's a DX format. Its highest continuous burst speed is 6 frames per second. So that's a low shutter speed, but ISO ranges from 100 to 6400, and that's spot on options. I don't really know what you call them, but then it goes to high 1, right, and high 2, and high 1's 12,800, and high 2 is 25,600. The highest shutter speed of this camera is 1/8,000th of a second, so it's really good for it's winter right now. We live in Canada, so there's a lot of snow, and that shutter speed really helps me out with taking pictures of basically whatever, especially in the snow is what I'm trying to say. The viewfinder is 100%, so I really like that. I upgraded from a D3100 and it was 95%, I think, so I'm really liking that difference of viewfinder precision. The screen here is 3 inches diagonal, and I'll show you the battery here. So there's the battery door. There's a little yellow thing that I haven't really seen before. It's just you kind of pull that down, this comes out. This is the ENEL 15 battery, lithium ion. That goes in. It's weird because the door is really close to the edge there, and it seems like it doesn't kind of go in properly. So I don't know if that's just my camera, but it stays in fine. It's not like the battery's gonna drop out or anything. It's, according to Nikon's site, it's 24.3 ounces, so that's a bit heavier than quite a few cameras actually, and I feel like I like the weight. It's a really good feel. That's just the body actually, and just the overall feel. It feels really solid, right? It's a magnesium alloy body. It's also weatherproof, so that's a nice thing to have actually. Yesterday I was shooting out in the snow, and like it cost me quite a bit of money, so I was still really protective of it, but it's nice to know that you have a camera that if it gets some rain or some snow on it, then it's gonna be fine. It's a trooper, right? It's got 8 picture control settings, so that's like vivid, standard, neutral, monochrome, couple other ones, whatever. 19 scene modes, which is really cool, because there's a dial mode up there, and instead of having all the different ones like it would on a entry-level camera, it has them over here, right? So it's just a scene there, and then it has a dial there, a dial up here. So this dial here will change the scene modes. So there's autumn colors, food, silhouette, high key, low key, portrait, landscape, child, sports, close up, night portrait, night landscape, party / indoor, beach / snow, sunset, dusk / dawn, pet portrait, handle light, blossom, and yeah, that's it. So that's actually pretty cool. I like that, but what kind of sucks about it is it gives you all those options, and if you I think it's if you shoot in RAW, and then I always shoot in RAW and I import it into Lightroom, right? And then I'm not able to get the proper settings I have it on, because all that goes over is obviously the exposure and white balance. It doesn't take on the scene modes or anything. So that's a bit that's nothing to do with the camera, but oh well. Just sad to have that many options for scene modes and not be able to use them. It has 39 autofocus points, so it's interchangeable from 9 to 21 to 39, which is really awesome actually. The 39 autofocus points really lets you select where you want your camera to focus, because what you see when you look through the viewfinder is this like circle in the middle, and it kind of has like this rectangle, and you can just there's like little squares that you can move around, and if you have it on automatic area focus, whatever you want to call it, it automatically lights them all up. So that's pretty cool. The lens is cool. I'll go over it physically actually real quick. Obviously shutter button, on and off switch, metering mode, exposure compensation, front dial controls the aperture when you're on manual mode, and this back dial controls shutter speed when you're on manual mode. Obviously exposure lock, autofocus lock, live view switch, recording button. Let's see, D-pad with the OK button, right? I feel like I forget what this means, but it must not be very important. I think it's like a focus, it's an area focus lock, I think. Info button, and that info button can also be accessed when you turn it on and then kind of overturn it as well, and it lights up this screen and also brings up your info screen there, which is really cool. On this side there's menu, question mark / lock, so it's like if you want to lock a picture just because it's really good, you don't want any way of deleting it, that's cool to have. ISO and the zoom out and zoom in, but above those you'll probably see here there's WB, ISO, and qual. So WB obviously white balance, ISO, and quality. So what you're doing is if you're taking a picture and you're on the info screen, right, you can just click one of those and then change it. Like right now I have it like ISO, right? You can change it whatever you want, right? So what this actually is, if you're upgrading from 5000 series or 3000 series, those all have the picturesque, I don't even know what it's called, but the something mode, and it's as the info screen, and it shows the little aperture ring and everything, but you don't really need that. This is just classic view, right? So it's not bad or anything, it just takes a while to get used to. So the thing that bugs me about this is the ISO button. It's right there, and that's kind of close to your face when you have the camera up to your face, looking through the viewfinder, right? So if you press the ISO button, it's kind of close to your face, because you're used to having your hand like this, or like that, whatever, just, yeah, like that. And yeah, you don't really want to have to bring your hand all the way back there, but there's not much you can do about that, and oh well. Down here, dual SD card slots, so there's a few options for that. You could have one JPEG, one RAW, an overflow setting, so when one fills, the other starts filling, and a backup setting, so that one, if you shoot a picture, it copies it to both cards, which is kind of cool in case you're taking pictures for an agency or something that really needs those pictures, and if you don't take the pictures, you're in trouble, right? If you're doing it for work or something. So on the side here, you'll notice something cool and different. I know this camera came out in 2010, but it's really good for its year. Like, that was a good year for Nikon, I guess. And what it is an autofocus manual switch. That's normal. That's on a couple other cameras. So if it's like that, it's manual. If it's like that, it's autofocus. And with this lens, this manual thing always turns, right? So even if you're on autofocus, you can turn the manual and focus like that, but then you still have to half press and it'll autofocus. And if you go to manual focus, it just pretty much doesn't autofocus when you do that, right? But what's different about this switch is that there's a button in it, in the middle of it. So if you have your camera on, obviously, and you click that button, have it on autofocus, you can click that button, turn the front or back dial, whatever you want to call it, this one right here, to change the type of autofocusing. So there's autofocus A, autofocus S, autofocus C. So C is like continuous, S is single servo, I think. So if you're pressing that and change that, it actually shows up through the viewfinder, right? But if you change this one, you can see it change actually on the viewfinder, and yeah, it's cool, right? And then you use the D-pad. That's another thing that bugs me actually, is if you're trying to change a single AF point, then you have to have your thumb against your nose like that, right? Release button, FN button, you can set to have virtual horizon, grid mode, whatever. You can look up those type of specs on Nikon.com or .ca, whatever. Aperture priority button down there, so that's cool to have. And the autofocus assist light right there. There's also this bracketing button right there, and I think it's like a three-stop bracketing or something like that. Battery door again. This is for a grip, if I can get it open. I can't really open it right now, but it's a little rubber thing covering this little electronic looking slot that allows for a grip to go on, actually, so that you don't have to take this battery out, which a lot of them have, right? So it's just a little attachment that you can get on the bottom. On the side here, this camera has a lot of stuff. It's awesome, but it has a lot of stuff. So AV out, USB, and HDMI, and a GPS port here, and a mic. Awesome. So, as I said before, 67mm around the lens. I'm moving on to the lens now, by the way. Has VR, so that's the on-off switch right there, and autofocus manual switch right there. The lens also comes with a lens bag I don't have right now, but it has this lens hood as well. So you just put that on. That's on. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. We really appreciate it when stuff like that happens, right? And you'll definitely be seeing some more reviews. You're getting 55 to 300 reviews soon. That's my nikkor lens, and yeah, cool.